We talk about that diversity and that development. Well, this one could develop into a real battle here. Well, if you enjoyed Ukraine against Russia, two of the powerhouses, well, this one's going to be equally entertaining. As we see Ina TRAZHUKOVA coming in here, the 26-year-old from Dagestan. And what a matchup this promises to be.
You want to talk about wrestling hotbeds, Dagestan.
Exactly.
Yikes.
Not only is it cold, well, it produces some red-hot wrestling, and it's about to get underway here. TKACH OSTAPC. She's the Ukrainian against Ina TRAZHUKOVA, and they're on the way here. The match has commenced. It's the pink boots and the blue of the Russian. But who's going to emerge with the bronze? The referee straight on it, not looking for any, is it linking of fingers he was signaling there?
I go back home, we call it mercy. So okay. You don't want to, so we don't want to, they don't want him to play mercy. Interlocking the fingers, and they'll hit you with an attention, and then after that it could be a caution in 2, and that's also another rule change. Cautions are now 2 points, whereas they used to be 1 point in freestyle. They changed all cautions across all styles to 2 points.
Well, a bigger point margin for those penalties, and the referee has certainly been hot on that, as both athletes finely tuned as they push for bronze here, trying to get that telling grip. Good change of angle there from TRAZHUKOVA. Well, the referee's obviously been reading the rules before he came in. Hot on it, good shoot for the single leg there. And the Russian has the Ukrainian in trouble. Can she get her off the mat? Dumps her out for the first score of this one. Sometimes it's the simple ones that make the difference.
Now, 1 point push out, that's one thing that the push out has added to freestyle wrestling, is you don't just run for the edge anymore. You're going to go out of bounds. Under attack, you're going to give up a point. So 1 point for TRAZHUKOVA. This is also an interesting matchup too, because TKACH OSTAPC, Olympian 3 different times.
OSTAPC again, she's got that experience, as you say, but it's not telling for at the moment because the Russian takes another 2 point takedown. And you mentioned that chain of moves. Can she get in the position here to continue the score?
Yeah, she's looking to, so I'm trying to look at the position. She's running the high gut there. Looked like she was trying to run it over for some back exposure, but nothing happened there. About halfway through here in the first period, 3-0 lead for TRAZHUKOVA. OSTAPC, 2-time European gold. She has 4 other different colored medals here at the European Championships, while TRAZHUKOVA has 2 bronze medals coming into this tournament.
Well, she's got the 2 bronze medals. Can she add a third? Well, the 3 points in her favor would certainly give her that little cushion, but it's not a very plump cushion. She's going to have to pad this out a little bit here because there's a minute left as she shoots again for the legs. OSTAPC in real trouble here.
Wow, TRAZHUKOVA just doesn't care about her world championship. This is just boom, 5-0. It has just been a tactical, technical match thus far. She's beat her on both shots. She's beat her on the push-out. I mean, this is 5-0 on the scoreboard is very indicative of how this match has gone so far.
Yep, more than a fair reflection. Forget the reputation, it's been about the determination of the Russian. That pedigree coming in from Dagestan has obviously helped her in terms of training. Do you call it sparring partners or training partners?
Typically training partners. I know you've got the combat sports background where boxing, sparring partner. Wrestling is typically workout partner, training partner.
Okay, and I'm guessing she doesn't have to look far, the Russian TRAZHUKOVA. I'm sure she's got a strong set of teammates to wrestle with, which gives her that flow, that natural style.
It's Russia. That's an understatement, John. All you have to do is breathe and you'll run into a wrestler.
Well, running into some trouble here is the Ukrainian OSTAPC. Last couple of seconds in an engrossing opening period. And I don't know about you, Jason, but as the wrestlers go back for a rest, I think I could do with lying down in a darkened room somewhere. It's been intensive.
People don't understand that, and you learned this the first time you were trying to cover wrestling in 2011, and you had a short time to understand how 3 minutes, 3 minutes of wrestling is an eternity. And then you go back out there, all right, good, 30, you got 3 more minutes. It is not something you just stand around and pitter-patter and play patty cake.
It's really interesting because I was a combat sport athlete, as I mentioned, covered different combat sports. the difference within wrestling and other combat sports, you're constantly engaged with your opponent. There's no time for footwork, there's no time for distance to avoid them. You're locked up, you're in trouble, and it's a battle of strength, endurance, timing, tactics, the whole thing. There's no respite, there's no rest, and there's certainly no rest from the Russian at the moment because she's 5 to the good and really beginning to put on the style here. Good response from Ostapchuk, trying.
Trying to work a short offense here with a front headlock, but she's still been passive. I mean, it was a good attempt by TRAZHUKOVA to start this sequence of action, but I'm surprised I haven't seen a passivity hit toward Ostapchuk at this point.
Yeah, well, the referee's not had much to do. The score's pretty healthy for the Russian attempt from Ostapchuk, but she sacrifices position and sacrifices a big takedown. And 7 could very quickly become 10, you would fancy.
Yeah, great knowing the position, just driving forward and working to get that takedown on the edge. Single leg here by Ostapchuk. Good posting on the hip. Now trying to work a little belly tilt, it looks like. Reversing direction, now peeling the ankle. And we'll get a fresh start. It's one thing I got to get used to is the, I got to get used to the metric system over here, and I got to get used to the clocks going upwards instead of down.
Sure. But I like to see you've perfected the belly tilt as well, though, so that's good to know. As she shoots there for that single leg again. TRAZHUKOVA. And this has got to be exhausting for Ostapchuk. She's points down, and it's just getting tougher and tougher. As TRAZHUKOVA kills the clock and spreads herself to defend. Is she going to get any points from this?
Yeah, we got 2 for Ostapchuk. So now she's looking to get 2 on the exposure. Cranked her over for 2 more. So this was 7-0 a minute ago. Now it's 7-4. And now she's running that armbar, John. She's looking to end this.
She's going for the big pin, the big push. Has Ostapchuk got the power, bridging out of it? TRAZHUKOVA using the neck strength to get away for how long? The referee looks, the referee calls it. What a response there. TKACH Ostapchuk. She looked down and out there, Jason, but tenacity pays off in the end.
There's a reason wrestlers win world championships. It's because they've got heart, guts, and grit. 7-0 with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go. No problems. Touche. That is what makes great wrestlers.
Well, speaking of great wrestling, we saw what a response from the Ukrainian. She was in real trouble. TKACH Ostapchuk, but she just came back. She would not give up on it. And what a way to win by pin.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a very simple move, the arm bar. It's not something you see a whole lot in freestyle wrestling because of the time it takes to set up a move and pin it. Again, I've mentioned Adeline Gray once before. That was something she is phenomenal with, and she pins a lot of people with it because she gets on top. It's that power, it's that leverage. So that's what we see from Ostapchuk right there. She was able to sit that bar and then just take her own weight